Right now, minus 46.6 degrees Celsius has just been recorded in Canada's Arctic. That is cold enough to freeze boiling water mid-air before it hits the ground. And tonight, that brutal cold is spreading across the country, affecting millions of Canadians from coast to coast to coast. But here is what most forecasts will not tell you. There is a massive temperature shift coming between February 9th and 14th that could flip conditions upside down for some of you. I am going to break down exactly when it hits, city by city, so you know precisely what is heading your way. And if you stay until the 5-minute mark, I will reveal the one region about to see a 30-degree temperature swing in less than 48 hours. That is not a typo. 30 degrees. But first, drop a comment right now telling me where you are watching from. Your city, your town, your province. I read every single one, and I will make sure your area gets covered in upcoming forecasts. Now let me hit you with a number that puts tonight into perspective. Across Canada this February, we are averaging 20 days of snowfall with 37 centimeters of accumulation for the month. Average wind speeds are sitting at 22 kilometers per hour, which is more than enough to turn an already freezing night into something genuinely dangerous. And tonight, the vast majority of this country is locked below zero. Only 2 major cities in the entire nation are above freezing right now. Just 2. Can you guess which ones? I will get to them, but first, let us start where the storm situation is most urgent. Do not skip ahead, because at minute 3, I am going to share the exact timing window when the prairies hit their coldest point tonight, and trust me, the numbers are staggering. Let us begin on the Atlantic coast, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Right now, Halifax is sitting near 0 degrees Celsius, but do not let that number fool you. The overnight low is dropping to -6, and here is the twist. Halifax cold is not like prairie cold. The Atlantic Ocean pumps moisture into that air, creating a damp, bone-cutting chill that makes -6 feel far worse than the thermometer suggests. Wind chill is pushing well below that. On top of that, there is a real chance of light snow or a wintry mix rolling through overnight. If you are heading out in Halifax tonight, heavy coat, toque, gloves, no exceptions. Now here is where it gets intense. Moving northeast to St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador, the most easterly city on the entire North American continent. St. John's tonight is looking at -5 to -10 degrees. Atlantic winds are hammering the Avalon Peninsula, carrying heavy moisture and the potential for significant snowfall. Visibility could drop sharply as snow and wind combine. Folks in St. John's, you are legendary for handling blizzards, but tonight I strongly recommend staying home if you can. This is not the night to test your luck on those roads. Before we move on, here is a wild stat. St. John's averages more blizzard days per year than almost any other major city in North America. This is a place where winter does not knock politely. It kicks the door down. And tonight is one of those nights. Now let us jump inland, and this is where the temperatures start to plunge. Quebec City, one of the oldest cities in North America, sitting along the St. Lawrence River, and tonight it is earning its reputation for brutal winters. Temperatures right now are around -5, but here is the critical timing. By midnight, expect -10. By 3 in the morning, -15. At -15, exposed skin can develop frostbite in just minutes, not hours, minutes. The snowpack on the ground is thick and solid. The air is dry and biting, and if skies clear overnight, radiative cooling will push those numbers even lower. Quebec City residents, layer up properly tonight. Cover your ears, nose, and fingertips completely. Moving southwest to Montreal, Canada's second-largest metro area. Montreal today reached -3, and tonight it slides toward -11. But here is the plot twist for Montreal. Forecasters are pointing to this exact window, February 9th through 14th, as the start of a milder spell for southern Quebec and Ontario. That means rain mixed with snow and warmer daytime highs could arrive within days. But tonight? Tonight is still deep winter. If you are downtown, use the underground city network to get around. If you are driving, watch for ice buildup. Roads are treacherous. Do not miss what comes next, because the nation's capital has some numbers that will surprise you. Ottawa, one of the coldest national capitals on the entire planet, and tonight it is proving exactly why. The daytime high only hit -3. Tonight it drops to -11. Ottawa in February averages just 5 hours of sunshine per day, only 43% of daylight hours. Average precipitation for the month is 58 millimeters, almost all of it snow. The Rideau Canal is frozen solid, but I would not recommend skating after dark in these temperatures. Frostbite risk is simply too high. Now, Toronto, Canada's largest city, and this is where things get really interesting. Pay close attention to these numbers. Toronto's high today only reached -8, overnight low -10. That is well below the historical average, which normally sees daytime highs around -0.9 and overnight lows around -8.1. But here is the shocking part. Look at what Toronto just survived. February 7th, the high was -13 with an overnight low of -21. February 8th, -14 and -20. Back-to-back days of punishing, dangerous cold. Tonight's -8 to -10 is technically a warm-up, though it certainly does not feel like one. And here is the reward I promised you. Tomorrow, February 10th, Toronto's high is expected to jump all the way to +2, above freezing. That is a swing of 10 degrees in 24 hours, and it does not stop there. By February 12th, some models are showing highs near +4 or 5. That kind of rapid warming in the middle of February is unusual, and it brings serious consequences. By February 14th, this warming trend could bring rain mixed with snow and constant freeze-thaw cycles that turn every road in the Greater Toronto area into an ice rink. Drivers, please exercise extreme caution over the next several days. Winds in Toronto tonight are from the south at 10 kilometers per hour, humidity at 65%, partly cloudy skies. Watch for surprise snow squalls near the Great Lakes, quickly hitting the surrounding Ontario cities. Barrie, about 100 kilometers north of Toronto, runs a few degrees colder and sits in prime lake effect snow territory. Expect -1 during the day and -8 overnight with possible light snow. Niagara Falls is faring slightly better thanks to the moderating influence of Lake Ontario and Lake Erie, averaging +2 during the day and -3 at night. And if you are visiting the falls right now, you might witness something spectacular. Portions of Niagara encased in ice, a phenomenon that only happens during prolonged cold snaps. London, Ontario, sitting in the lake effect snowbelt courtesy of Lake Huron, expect +1 during the day and -5 overnight with scattered snow possible. Now, the prairies. This is the section I told you to wait for. Here is where Canada's winter shows its true power. Winnipeg, Manitoba, the city that regularly battles for the title of coldest city in the world with a population over 600,000. Tonight, temperatures are dropping to -20 to -25, but that is just the thermometer reading. Factor in the wind, which blows completely unimpeded across thousands of kilometers of flat terrain, and the wind chill pushes it to what feels like -35 to -40. At those temperatures, frostbite develops on exposed skin in 10 to 15 minutes. Let me repeat that, 10 to 15 minutes. Winnipeg, I know you wear your winters like a badge of honor, but tonight, stay indoors. 3 to 4 layers minimum if you must go out. Balaclava or heavy scarf over your face. 0 exposed skin. The peak cold window for Winnipeg tonight is between 2 and 5 in the morning. That is when temperatures bottom out at their most dangerous. Regina, Saskatchewan. Same story, same brutal numbers. -18 to -25 tonight. Clear skies, which sounds nice until you understand what that means on the prairies. Clear skies equal radiative cooling, where heat escapes the ground at a ferocious rate, driving temperatures lower and lower through the overnight hours. And here is a phenomenon most people outside the prairies have never heard of. Ground blizzards. The wind picks up loose surface snow and blows it horizontally at eye level, creating full blizzard conditions without a single new snowflake falling from the sky. Visibility drops to near 0. Saskatoon, 260 kilometers north of Regina, is even colder, -20 to -28 tonight. The South Saskatchewan River running through the city is frozen absolutely solid under a thick blanket of snow. Saskatoon residents, make sure your vehicle has winter-grade oil, a fully charged battery, and an emergency survival kit in the trunk. Warm blanket, flashlight, food, water, portable phone charger. If your car breaks down on a highway tonight, that kit could save your life. Crossing into Alberta now, Calgary, sitting at the foot of the Rockies at an elevation of 1,045 meters, Calgary has a secret weapon called the Chinook, a warm, dry wind that rolls down off the mountains and can spike temperatures by 20 degrees or more in just hours. But tonight, no Chinook. Temperatures hit -4 during the day and are sliding to -13 overnight. Northwest winds are carrying cold mountain air right into the city. Edmonton, 300 kilometers north, is the most northerly major city in Canada. Tonight, -6, dropping to -14. February days here are short. The sun sets early and darkness stretches long, giving temperatures almost no chance to recover. Smart move tonight is to use Edmonton's network of underground pedways and skywalks to get around downtown without ever facing the cold. Fort St. John in northeast British Columbia, despite technically being in BC, has a climate that matches the prairies. Tonight, -25 to -30. This is remote country where extreme cold can be genuinely life-threatening. And now, the moment some of you have been waiting for. The answer to my earlier question: which two cities are above freezing tonight? Vancouver, British Columbia, the jewel of the Pacific coast. While Toronto sits at -10 and Winnipeg at -25, Vancouver is at +5 degrees Celsius. Yes, 5 above zero. Tomorrow it climbs to +8 with rain. That is a 30-degree difference between Vancouver and Winnipeg happening at the same moment in the same country. Let that sink in. But Vancouver pays a price for its mild winters. Rain, relentless, legendary Vancouver rain. Tomorrow calls for 10 to 15 millimeters during the day, then another 10 to 20 millimeters overnight. South winds at 20 kilometers per hour. Grab your umbrella, Vancouverites. You know the drill from October through March, Victoria, on the southern tip of Vancouver Island, the mildest climate in all of Canada. Tonight, +4 to +7 with light rain. This is a city where cherry blossoms can start blooming in February. While the rest of the country bundles up in parkas, Victoria is practically in spring mode. And finally, Canada's far north, where winter operates on a completely different level. Whitehorse, Yukon, -20 to -30 tonight with only 8 to 9 hours of daylight. But here is the silver lining. February is prime northern lights season in the Yukon. If skies clear, Whitehorse residents could see ribbons of green, purple, and pink light dancing across the sky. If you have never seen the aurora borealis in person, it makes enduring the cold absolutely worth it. Yellowknife, Northwest Territories. -30 to -40. Great Slave Lake has been frozen for weeks, the ice thick enough to support heavy trucks. Several ice roads across the lake are serving as official transportation routes right now. Tonight, keep your taps dripping to prevent frozen pipes, make sure your block heater is plugged in, and check your furnace. And speaking of that record, -46.6 was recorded at Thompson River and Stephenson Island. At that temperature, metal becomes brittle. Your breath crystallizes instantly in front of your face. It is the kind of cold where stepping outside without full gear is not uncomfortable. It is genuinely dangerous. Iqaluit, Nunavut, the capital of the high Arctic. -30 to -40 with wind chill pushing the feels like temperature below -50. The sun barely peaks above the horizon for a few hours before disappearing. The Inuit and indigenous communities here have adapted to these conditions over thousands of years, but cold at this magnitude demands absolute respect from everyone. Now here are your safety essentials for tonight. Dress in layers: moisture-wicking base layer, fleece or insulating middle layer, windproof and waterproof outer layer. Cover all exposed skin, especially ears, nose, cheeks, chin, and fingers. If you are driving, confirm your winter tires are on. Washer fluid is rated for extreme cold, and your trunk has an emergency kit with a blanket, flashlight, food, water, and a phone charger. And please check on your elderly neighbors, families with young children, and anyone who may not have adequate shelter or heating. In conditions like tonight, a simple check-in can genuinely save a life. For those on the West Coast, your concern is not cold but heavy rain and gusty winds. Watch for localized flooding and downed trees, especially in low-lying areas. Now remember that massive warming trend I mentioned? In the next forecast, I am going to break down exactly how the February 9th through 14th transition unfolds hour by hour across Ontario and Quebec, including the exact timing of the freeze-thaw cycles that are going to make driving extremely dangerous. You do not want to miss that one. Drop your city in the comments right now so I can make sure your area gets covered. Stay warm tonight, Canada. Stay safe. Look out for each other. That is what we do. And I will see you in the